Thomas here with Much Props, going to give you another how-to video. I've been watching Odin Makes piece together a Gundam suit, was thoroughly inspired by his build, and have been getting requests quite a bit for a Gundam build myself. So instead of trying to dive in and make a whole suit of armor, I thought I would start with something fairly simple and make a half mask. So I'm going to take several designs from the Gundam series, kind of piece them together and hopefully make a usable template for you guys. It will be down in the description below for free. So without further ado, today we are building a Gundam half mask. Let's get to building. Start by downloading the free template from the description below. It's saved as a PDF, so you need to be on a computer to open it or have a device with a PDF reader downloaded. Cut out the parts and trace them onto your materials. I'm using 6mm EVA for most of this build. Make sure you read the cover page of my templates. They help you to figure out what all the lines and colors and things mean on it, and also give you a list of supplies. Time to assemble the base. I start by brushing on a layer of contact cement to all my edges. Give it a few seconds to dry, and then slowly start tacking things together. I try and stay as flush with the outside surface as possible to limit the amount of sanding I gotta do later, and I trust my registration marks for alignment. The base for this mask will definitely have to make another build. It fits really, really well. Notice my alignment of pieces at the top of your screen. On the template piece labeled cheek top, there's a dotted line colored red. This means that on the underside of the part, score a line with your blade halfway through the material. Hold the mask up to your face and figure out the best angle for that part to your nose. Then you backfill the cut with the hot glue and hold it in that angle to make a good custom fit. Usually I label my parts with anatomical or facial descriptions to help you figure out where they go. These sideburn pieces line up with the side and the top edges of the mask. The bottom will hang off just a little bit from the base, so don't freak out. That's how it's supposed to be. The beard pieces are next. I assemble them the same way as the base as a separate unit. Then once all the parts are together, I position it on the chin and stick it into place. There are a lot of different styles of Gundams, at least from what I've seen from my reference material, so at any point along the way you could stop and not add all these details and make it simpler for yourself with less pieces, but we're going to make it harder for ourselves. To add more detail, I am now putting together the side vents. I pieced these parts just like the rest with contact cement and slowly work my way around. I've given these parts numbers so that it will hopefully help you match up each of these tiny little pieces together. To position these, I held the mask on my face and moved them to where it covered most of my ears. Then I made a mark so that I knew where to glue them. The bottom half of the assembly doesn't touch the base mask due to the curve inward. And of course, my vents have to have vents for some reason. I kind of combined a few different elements from various Gundams to kind of make it my own. If you decide to make one of these using my template, please tag me in any post. It really does make my day to see people putting my templates to good use and help support my channel by telling others where you got the pattern from. Most of the references I looked at had vents around the nose area, which is nice for allowing air circulation, so I waited till the assembly was all complete and decided on a style to cut out. To help with alignment, I'm using my registration marks to make it even on both sides by kind of eyeballing it. Make your marks and then plunge cut into the foam. Watch your hand that's holding it so you don't accidentally poke it like I did. Then to finish off the parts, I made a couple of overlays to take up some of that flat space and give more interest to those empty areas. I also went in with some small strips and kind of made like a heat sink on the vent overlay. To take it just another little step further with detailing, I used a bit on my Dremel. This is the cutting wheel bit minus the cutting wheel to plunge in little recessed rivets all over. I also took a sanding drum and made several passes to add like battle damage to this pristine looking mask, because of course we don't make pristine on the channel. It's got to be dirty and battle damaged. He's seen things. Two coats of Plasti Dip, then a light misting of silver, black, and brown for an aged metal look. I did go ahead and seal the aged metal spray paint treatment because of this next step. So you could go and buy fancy latex liquids at the craft store or spend lots of time tearing off tape. I choose to slather toothpaste on it. Everywhere that toothpaste goes down, it will mask that area off from the next layer of paint and it won't adhere to it. Next, I add a layer of off-white to everything to cover up the untoothpasted areas. After letting my paint dry, I come in with a wet paper towel and rub off all the toothpaste. It gives your paint job a nice chipped look and makes it smell minty fresh. For the cracks that I have difficulty getting the paste out of, I use a toothbrush to scrub it out. Go figure. For the rest of my paint job, I switch over to some Plaid Effects acrylic paint in red, blue, black, and gold to bring out all of my details. In my chipped areas, I just simply paint right up to that line. I went ahead and I masked off the areas I wanted to stay white because it's easier than my unsteady hand trying to not accidentally hit those areas. I know, yet another layer of paint. I promise this is the last one. Now I loosely mix a little brown and black acrylic with a wet brush and do some washes to make it extra dirty. This is also a way to hide any crimes that you may have and blur uneven paint lines to kind of make it less obvious. Then for my typical method of strapping, I use 1-inch elastic banding, pull it over my head, and cut just a little short of where the mask would actually lie on my face. Then I sandwich that elastic in between the mask and a small piece of EVA to secure it into place. And we are finished. Here is the end result. I think it turned out pretty good. Like I said, I don't know a lot about Gundam, but I, of course, had to make it dirty and scratched up. I didn't want to make a nice, pristine looking one, so I put several passes of battle damage onto mine. You could just as easily skip that step and make a nice, pristine, clean one. Not too bad of a shape, and it really does fit my face pretty well, so there you go. Leaving parts off of it, you can build different masks from the template, and hopefully you will. Maybe you'll try and build a Gundam mask yourself and impress your friends with your ability to make something that covers your face while at the same time telling people that you've been through some stuff and they better keep their distance. Yeah. Maybe you'll get some...
Yay!
And inevitably, they're going to ask you, how'd you make that? You can give them one of these. Tell them, much props.
Peace out.
Thanks again to all my Patreons listed here and here. If you're not a member and you enjoy what I do, please consider helping me out so we can grow this channel and community together, help build positivity, and share creativity.